Welcome back to Maintenance Monday. Now today I'm going to show you how to install some oversized pulley wheels on your rear derailleur. They've been around for some time, but it's about time you found out how to install them. When it comes to oversized pulley wheels, there are loads of different options out there, and they're said to improve the chain efficiency. Some of them are said to be more aerodynamic than the standard cages, but one thing that I think is that they do look pretty incredible. I mean, come on, look at that. How cool is that? Anyway, you're only going to need one simple tool to do this: a T10 Torx piece. Now, of course, that is relying upon the fact that you have the derailleur removed from your bike already, and if you haven't, you're just simply going to need to remove the chain off of your bike, take one sort of 5mm Allen key, remove the rear derailleur from your bike. Fairly simple process. Next up, we'll need a little bit of grease so that when we remove that derailleur cage, we can clean it up and refit it with some fresh grease. So I've already got some gloves on. These are of course optional, but the first thing we're going to need to do, this for example is a Di2 derailleur, is to push the cage so it's in the open or in the easiest gear position. No stress doing that, you just have to put a little bit of force through it. And then we need to turn it over, and underneath, you can see here, we've got this small little screw. This is where our T10 Torx piece fits. First thing we need to do is just undo this, loosen it off. Sometimes they can be quite tight, so just make sure you hold the tool in there, nice and square, securely, firm grip, and then, there we go. Turn that. We can then remove that all of the way out. So we turn this, it's quite a long bolt, this one. That out and set that to one side. Make sure not to lose this, of course, because we'll need it to reinstall it. Next stage is to take a little bit of the tension here where we can feel what would normally hold our chain tight. So take a bit of that tension and gradually we're trying to separate these two halves. Like so. Push that out a little bit further, until we can get this little pin. Just show you there. There's our pin. We're trying to get that to come out past the body of the derailleur. Then we can start to slacken off a little bit of that spring tension, ease it around until it stops. So that's under no tension now. All that is holding that is ready to go, slide out. There you go, that's that piece removed. There's a little dust cover here. Simply pull that out with our fingers, nails, set that to a side. Then we've got our pieces separated, ready for the next step of the process. So we've got our two parts separated here. This is our derailleur body. We can just set that to the side for now, keep that tucked out of the way. Nothing more to do with this for the time being. Then, if we take our new oversized pulley wheels, we can see these are the parts we're trying to change. Obviously, this is significantly cooler looking and bigger than this, but you can also see we're missing this big spring. So what we need to do is remove the spring from the standard one and install it onto our oversized system. It's got a little hook which holds it in place. You can just get hold of it and lift that hook out. See that little hook there? All it does is slide over that guide pin and hook into place. We just repeat the exact same process on our new oversized system. Now this one, for example, does have 3 different holes, and this is all to do with how tight the chain is held onto the bike. So you've got 3 options: the tightest setting, middle setting, and the loosest setting. Safest bet, play it safe, go into the middle setting. If you find you want to fine tune and tweak the chain retention on your bike, that's how you do it. But maybe if you're going to ride on bumpy terrain, you probably would want it on the tightest setting. So before we actually install this spring, what we need to do is apply a little bit of grease onto this pin and shaft here, so that when it's installed into our derailleur, it's going to run nice and smooth, no risk of any corrosion. Normal grease, any sort of grease will do. Got some bio grease here. I say grease a lot then. All we're going to need to do, a little bit onto our finger, a bit on there, wipe that round. We don't need to put loads on, so put some on there, wipe any excess off, like so. Got a cloth here with me, clean that off. There we go, something like that, looks about right. Then we just install our spring over the top. Like I said, we'll probably aim for the middle hole, play it safe. That, push into place like that. So that there is ready to be reinstalled onto our derailleur. Some of them are going to be slightly different, but that's the process for installing this one. So this little dust cover, which we sat to the side and picked off earlier, does need to slide over the top of the spring. And the reason we do that is because of the little tag here on the spring. So if we didn't put it over the top, we would struggle to locate it correctly. So that's over the top. Then it's a case of getting our derailleur. So slide the two pieces together, like so, lining up that tab on the spring. As that gets a little bit closer, we can see on the side, we've got this little tab on the derailleur cage itself. And before that gets too close to the derailleur body, we need to rotate and add some spring tension to our derailleur cage. And once we get round past the locating tab, which is here, and then push the derailleur all the way onto the cage, like so. And then that will hold it in place. You need to hold this all together. See, we've got some tension there, because if I let it go, you do run the risk of it sort of trying to pop itself apart, because that spring has got some tension under it now. Next step is take our locating pin, which we first removed, back in to our derailleur body. Should just push in. It doesn't want to go, just move that around. Then it's a case of getting our T10, winding this, pushing it back in, like so. No need to do this up crazy tight. You should know how tight it was when you had to remove it. Remember, it's a fairly small screw, so there's no need to apply loads and loads of force to it. Perfect. Look at that. So there you have it, your new oversized pulley wheels installed. I think you'll agree, looking incredible. All we need to do now is give a little final check over, make sure the pivot is operating correctly, nice and free, and then we can install that back on our bike. Now, depending on the type of oversized pulley wheel system you've got, you are of course going to have a longer chain. Unfortunately, you can't add any links to your chain, so it is going to mean you have to have a new one. And kind of each one will have instructions with it as to how many additional links you need to add to the standard chain length on your bike. This one, for example, usually needs 2 links added, but read the instructions for the relevant one you have. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, please do give it a big thumbs up. Why not let me know in the comments section what you think of oversized pulley wheels. See you soon. Bye.